And I think this morning we'll do a combination of lower abdominal breathing, some chi belt breathing, and some kidney breathing, just so that we feel that when we take in air, we're actually breathing in all directions, not just in the front. But let's start with lower abdominal breathing. So just make sure that your feet are outer hip distance apart. Feel, if you look down, just feel that you're pressing down fairly evenly between the four corners of your feet. So big toe, little toe, and the outer corners of your heels. And one hand on the lower abdomen, the other hand on top. And just let your shoulders melt down away from your ears. Keep a slight bend in your knees. So you just want everything to be relaxed but upright. And then we'll start slow breathing into the lower abdomen. So nice slow inhale and a nice slow exhale. So when we're breathing slowly and deeply, right, on the inhale, the belly really should puff out. Sometimes it feels like the reverse of what we've been normally taught. But we really want that diaphragm to be able to descend. And it really only is able to do that if we've relaxed the lower abdomen so that, the organs below the diaphragm are like very gently and subtly displaced. So they're kind of pressed down. The belly has to kind of move outward to create that space. And then on the exhale, as the diaphragm lifts back up, the abdomen can gently pull back in towards the spine. This is really sort of how we want to have our resting type of breathing, meaning for most of the time, most of the day, this is how we should be breathing. And then let's take the hands to our waist, kind of right where you would have a belt if you're 50 years old. If you have when you're 12, it might be, or 18, it might be down here, but sort of where the belly button is, and just press in. Squeeze in gently with your hands. So you're pressing in, so cinching in, and keep that pressure as you inhale. So it's gonna be harder to take a deep breath, right? Because we're holding resistance here. But what this is doing is we're able to actually see that the diaphragm actually extends side to side too. So we're actually allowing the breath to move laterally. And this kind of gives us the opportunity to work the diaphragm a little harder to strengthen it. So just so you have to actually use a little bit more force, gentle force, to create that inhale enough to be able to expand the lungs. You might find your organs are rubbling around. And then kidney breathing, our hands are on the lower back. And tuck your tailbone down ever so slightly so that we create a little bit of space in the lower back. So that when we inhale, it can almost feel like you're sending the breath into the lower back. The low back will actually expand slightly. And then on the exhale, just let everything go. So on the inhale, tuck the tailbone down. Feel the breath moving. You might feel your hands move apart slightly, and then exhale back to neutral. Really good for the kidneys. Okay, and then let's drop the arms down, and then let's go into a version of knocking on the door of life called bear walk. It's just a weight shift. So we're still knocking across the lower abdomen, the low back, but you're just gently shifting the weight. There's a slight rotation from the right foot to the left foot, but your feet are flat on the ground. This is a variation from the QiGong Animal Frolics series. It's really funny. I'm not sure which bears are walking around like this, but this is called bear walking. I guess there's sort of this lumbering back and forth. And then come up just below the collarbone. And then let's come all the way up to the top of the shoulders. And then back down below the collarbone. And then back down to the waist. And then let's start to slowly unwind. And let's do some spinal cord breathing. So inhale, bring the hands up by your head as you look up, opening the chest. Exhale, curling the upper spine forward. That tailbone can sink down again so that you're creating more space in the lower back on the exhale. So inhale, let's go nice and slow, really allowing a full opening of the chest on the inhale and feeling that stretch all the way from the sacrum, even like all the way down to the tailbone, actually, coming all the way up to the base of the skull. It's really allowing a gentle stretch, all of those muscles that run up and down the sides of the spine. Get a nice gentle stretch here. And we're literally helping to pump the fluid of the spine, the cerebral spinal fluid, up through the column. It's back and forth, feeling your breath helping to expand. And then the exhalation, really allowing everything to let go, create that space for the next breath. And then last exhalation, just let the arms drop down. All right, the spine is nice and warmed up now. Let's do a little clearing. So this is tiger clears the way. So we start with our tiger claws up over the head. And with tiger clears the way, as we exhale, you're going to bring the arms down as we bend the knees. And then the arms come out to the sides as you straighten your knees. And then allow the arms to come back down as we bend the knees and then straighten back up. So it's a bend and then straighten out, bend, and then come up. And then you pick up a little bit of bounce here, a little momentum. And then we can exhale out the mouth. So the pumping action of the legs are really important here because it's helping to generate some heat, that return blood flow from our extremities back up to the heart, to the lungs, and then to the heart. Oh, I'm sorry. I just whacked Willie. Sorry, baby girl. So we're clearing, we're generating heat I like to think of this as steam cleaning the inside, so generating heat to be able to let go of stress, anxiety, tension. Really getting things to start circulating. And last one. All right, the heart's beating a little bit faster now. So let's use that heat that we just generated. Let's come to a wider stance, and let's do a little moving the body like a river. So hands can stay on your thighs. Start shifting the weight from the right foot to the left foot, and then keep a nice easeful flow in the upper body so the spine can just undulate back and forth. Moving the body like a river. So just moving your body just like, the gentle current. If you're looking at a river, just that peace that's happening, that undulation, that the flow of the waves. We'll see if we can recreate that same sense internally here. So an easeful flow, an easeful pulsation back and forth. The spine gets to move laterally here. Back and forth. Nice easeful flow. And let's pause at the center. And let's open up heart to the sky. And then bring palms back together, heart to the earth. And again, opening up, feeling that expansiveness. And then bringing everything back into the center. Nice and slow. And then let's do moving the body like a river one more time, either the same variation, or if you want to make it a little more challenging, a little more of a leg strengthening exercise, you can have your palms facing outward. And as we shift the weight over to the left, the hands come across over to the left and then over to the right. Either one is completely fine. It depends on how you're feeling, how much energy you have. But this can be a nice one. Still maintaining that same easeful flow, just generating a little bit more heat and strength in the legs. And then let's come to the center again. And again, inhale, heart to the sky. Exhale, heart to the earth. Just allowing that counter, the yin, slowing down. So we start creating more energy by stretching the polarities, the yin and the yang, active, passive. Too much yang, we burn out. Too much yin, too much stagnation. Okay, that felt great. Let's go into a neutral stance again. Actually, we're going to do a little Tao Yin. So our Tao Yin sequence is this particular one stretches the meridian lines. So the feet are together or closer together. Clasp your hands except for your index fingers, have those pointing up. And then start just by pressing the knuckles of your thumb right into the center of your chest. This is a pretty significant acupressure point called CV17, also known as REN 17, also known as conception vessel 17, all the same point. It's really good to, as I say, balance emotional energy. So we're just going to take the thumbs, press into that point for a minute. And then on the inhale, you're just going to raise those index fingers up towards the sky. So this first pose is called the arrow. So we'll stretch way up. You can press your hips forward slightly. So just a very gentle back bend. And inhale here. Exhale. And then take the basket of your hands and just place them in the back of your head. And then we'll bend the knees as we start to crouch down. And then your elbows come a little bit closer together. So you're kind of crouched into this little ball. So connecting to the earth. We're closer to the earth here. And then we're going to inhale and slowly straighten those knees. Extend the arms back up on the inhale. And again, exhale. We'll start to bend the knees, coming down into a little ball. Elbows come closer together. And then inhale, we'll straighten back up. So we'll pump back and forth for a few more rounds. Nice and slow. Exhaling as we come down. This is the earth. This is metal. So the lung, large intestine meridians here. The spleen and the stomach here. Let's do that one more time. This time, after we stretch up, just release your hands down to the sides. Keep a nice bend in your knees, and we're going to come all the way forward towards the earth. So your knees are nice and bent. You can even rest your belly on the tops of your thighs if that feels good. And just let the crown of your head fall forward. Just breathe here for a few seconds, few moments. And then we'll clasp all the fingers together. So we're making a little basket with your hands. And then as we start to straighten those knees, we rise up. We take that basket right up through the center, flip so your palms face towards you and then away, and then up towards the sky. And then we'll come, if this feels accessible, come to the balls of your feet. So this is called raising the bubbling spring. It's the first point on the kidney channel, right at the base where the balls of your feet are. So we're just drawing energy up, stretching. Really good for the muscles in the feet, for balance. And then exhale, the heels drop down. And then exhale the arms. Oops, nope, keep your arms. We have to do the wood stretch. So arms are stretching up. And then just lean over now to your left. So we're stretching now the sides of the rib cage. And just breathe in and out. So if you press down through the right foot and then press through the palms of your hands, should get a little deeper stretch. And then inhale back to the center. And now over to the right, pressing down through the left foot. So this is the wood element, the liver and gallbladder channels, which run down the sides of the body. And then inhale now back to the center. Now we'll separate the hands. They come just out to about shoulder height. So your wrists are flexed, palms are facing the sides of the room. You might already feel a nice stretch through the forearms. So this is fire. This is where the pericardium and the heart channels are. And then just let your head tilt over now to the right, or to your left, actually, my right. Just keep those wrists flexed so you're still feeling that stretch through the forearms. And then the head comes up and then over now to the right. You might feel the stretch all the way into the middle finger. It's good. That's the pericardium. And then head comes upright. Now gently allow the arms to float down. That should feel really good. And let's just pause here for a moment. So that's a really good stretch for all of the meridians. And it's time to go into our flows. So let's separate the feet again. Let's do a little shaking. Let's get things cleared out, any residual stuff. You gotta empty the cup before we can start filling it. And one more. And then we'll start to slow down. All right, let's start our flows today. Let's go back to the basics. Let's just start with open the flow. So the arms are nice and relaxed. Right? This is a good one to come back to every once in a while because it's really simple, but simple does not mean easy, as we know. So sometimes the more simple flows are harder because it's easier to check out mentally. So let's use this as a moment to come back to our awareness, our focus, intention, attention. And on the inhale, the arms will just float up to shoulder height. The wrists are nice and relaxed. And then exhale, the arms just float back down. And we'll go really slow. Inhale. And exhale. Just keeping your awareness, right, on this moment. Just noticing your breath, your body moving on the breath. And we're just using these flows to move through space. Most of what is around us is actually space. We focus on the form, right? But most things in life are actually invisible. And it's that formless energy that we're trying to make a little bit more accessible to our awareness and connecting to it. So just feel even just the sensation that's happening on your skin as your arms rise up and float back down. Noticing sounds. Sounds are invisible. Any smells. All of these things are invisible frequencies that our bodies interpret through these sensory organs. And our minds are really brilliant at interpreting. But all of that's formless. So just inhaling and allow yourself to really relax. Really, truly move with relaxation. So it feels almost like there's an effortlessness, or that something is moving through you, like wind through the trees. And let's exhale the hands down. And we're going to go into pulling the Gossamer's thread. So this is the one where we'll move into a version of opening the flow to the 6 directions while going through consecutive fingers, touching the thumb to the index, middle, ring, and pinky fingers. So we start inhaling, touching the thumb and the index finger together. So they rise up and pull in. Now we'll exhale forward, touching the thumb to the middle finger, thumb to the ring finger as you inhale and pull back in. And then exhale the pinky and thumb to the sides. Then all fingers touching the thumbs as you draw your hands right back into the center. And then open the hands as we exhale down. So inhale first, thumb and index finger up and in. Exhale, gently pushing forward, touching the middle finger. And then thumb to the ring finger as you draw back in, right into your shoulder area. And then exhale, touching the pinky out to the sides. And then inhaling back in and down. So we'll just continue in that flow, just one finger at a time. So the Gossamer's thread here, we're working with this formless energy around us. And these threads are just different frequencies. They're little threads, or you can even imagine little golden tendrils that we're connecting to, drawing in. That formless energy, how we can tap into this space, this field around us. And this is just an opportunity to start making it more tangible. Nice and slow. The slower we go, the more accessible or more tangible it tends to be. Like the slower we move, the more receptive we become, the more we can really fill up our cups. Just inhaling in, exhaling, pushing forward. Inhale, drawing right in. Maybe these threads aren't necessarily gold for you. Maybe they're a spectrum. Just different frequencies. And hopefully higher vibrations of energy. Let's do that one more time. And then let's drop the hands down and just hold our chi ball for a moment. And close your eyes. Just feel the space between your hands as you gently pull your hands apart. Let them move back in, pulsing. And then we're just going to turn. We're still holding our chi ball. We're just going to turn it now so your left hand is on top, right hand is on the bottom. Still feel that space. And then inhale, your left arm floats up. We're going to actually windmill our arms now. So the left comes all the way out to the left while the right arm floats up. So one's moving down and one's moving up. And then now the right hand should be on top. Left hand's on the bottom. Exhale. Let that top hand float back down towards your left. And imagine just that you're taking that chi ball, and as you bring the hands closer together, you're just condensing it. And it feels almost like a spring. And you get to the point where it's at its max. And now inhale, that energy is released. The top hand floats back up. And then we'll windmill now the opposite direction. So now the left arm comes up, right arm floats down, top hand starts descending. So like you're condensing, condensing, condensing. And then inhale, springs back up. And then that top hand floats back down. So now we're just going to move on the breath. So inhale as we spread apart and windmill. And then exhale as we start to move down the center, condensing. So now connecting more with the energy all around us. And we start just bringing it in, condensing it, and then just feel that explosion of energy outward after we bring and consolidate. This is the yin and the yang. One morphs into the other at its apex, right? You get the height of yang right? We start to move more yin. And just as we get to the max, you can only condense so much, right? And then we have this explosion of yang. The Tai Chi symbol. And as the hands come down, I am bending my knees slightly. So it's really the whole body sort of like condensing down. And then as we move apart, there's a little lengthening upward. And one more. As the hands come back down, let's just move the hands now so they're side by side again. One last time. Just feeling all of that energy, right, that you've just cultivated. You've made it more tangible. And let's bring the feet together, and now we'll just center it now. So the right arm comes out to the side all the way up, and then exhale down the center. And then the left, we inhale it out to the left, coming all the way up, and then exhale. And then we'll land right below the belly button, one hand on top. Make a few circles here. And then we'll pause. Allow the breath to be soft and rhythmic. Just bathing in all of that high vibration. And when you're ready, you can crack your eyes open.